Hey guys, in this video, I'm actually going to go ahead and show you a demo of an N8N AI agent that can actually automate your Instagram DMs. Now, before I actually go ahead and just jump into it, let's go ahead and just check out a quick demo. So I recorded this on my test device here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play. The video is sped up. So if you don't know what Manychat is, basically, if you go on Instagram, a lot of times creators say, comment the word this and I'll send you something, or DM me the word this and I'll send you something. Well, they're using this tool called Manychat in order to automate that process, right? And so the reason I'm using it is because Manychat's going to be that API layer that sends messages to and from the AI agent. But more on that soon. Let's go ahead and just watch this demo. So as you see here, the trigger word that I use is template to go ahead and start the N8N workflow. And then this here is the agent acting as myself on Instagram saying, hey, drop your email below. Now this here, actually, I'm sorry, this part here is actually being handled by Manychat. So I send the email address. This is another Manychat default reply. This is another Manychat default response I put in, but this is actually where the AI actually starts to take over the conversation. All right, so it says, tell me where you are right now in your funding process. Now, I built this agent here that you're seeing here for a client of mine who's actually in the business funding space. He helps his clients get capital for their business. And so I created this workflow here for him, right? So his says, tell me where you are right now in getting funding. I'm saying, yes, getting started, trying to fund a business. And the AI is saying, what type of business are you looking to start or grow? So me playing the part of the user, I'm saying that I'm looking to start a car rental business, looking to buy two cars to start. Now, this part here is pretty cool because ManyChat actually does not have a default system to batch messages together. I actually had to work around that, which I'm actually going to show you here in the video. But just know that this bot is actually set up so it's not going to respond independently to this message and this message. Rather, it's going to look at both of these messages together as a response to this message, and it's going to reply with one message. All right. It says, how much funding do you think you need to get started with buying those two cars? Right. Again, looking to start car rental business, looking to buy two cars to start. It's going to respond with this one message. All right. From there, right. Again, playing a party user, I'm saying 20, 30,000 would be good starting out. And then lastly, we see here, it says, sounds good. Would you be open to hopping on a call, walk through, right? And basically from there, it could send the invite link or book a meeting or whatever the case may be. Okay, so how exactly this is working, I think it's most important to start here in Manychat and break it down. So what's happening here in Manychat, now this flow is a little different. This is my demo flow, but same rules apply. When you DM me the word demo, the first thing that I'm doing is that I am sending your reply over into my database, right? So this isn't going to any AI agent or anything. It's just hitting a webhook and it's being added to the database as a response. Now, the way Manychat's done is that each user has a unique session ID, and so, or a contact ID rather. Every single input from the user, it's unique specifically to that user. It's all batched together. So Manychat sends in what the user sent on their contact ID, and then I'm clearing the user input because only one thing can live in that user input field at a time. Now, one thing I did here is I separated it into the non-AI flow area and the agent flow begins area. Because as you've seen in the video, right, anything that you want to do before you hit the AI, you actually want to do it right over here. So I'm separating the flows. So if you're doing things like Manychat buttons or things like that, it's important that you do it here because once it hits this AI agent flow, the conversation is going to stay over here with the AI agent until it's complete. Once we get the message, I am sending basically a space, right? This here is just a blank space. Like I just click in here, hit the space bar, and that's it. But what I'm doing is I'm just waiting 10 seconds, right? I'm waiting for this to expire. And the reason I'm doing that is because once I've collected any information from the user or whatnot, right? I'm not going to expect a response back. And so when this here expires, that's finally where I'm actually going to be hitting the AI agent. And what's going to happen here is that it's going to trigger the workflow in N8N. It's going to run through the full cycle, and the agent's going to send a response back to us. All right. And once that response is sent back, we're going to go ahead and store it in this assistant reply field, right? And that's handled basically inside here. So one important thing to note here is that Manychat's webhook window is short, and sometimes it might be short for the whole N8N process to kind of work out. And so what I've ran into oftentimes was that depending on maybe depending on what I'm sending, the API call would time out, and so we wouldn't have enough time for the agent's reply to get back to the user. So what I'm doing here is that when I send the request to N8N, to my AI agent, and the request comes back, what I'm doing is that number one, I am storing the request to a database. And then again, I'm clearing the user input. There should not be anything in here, but just in case, I'm clearing it again. And I'm clearing the assistant reply. So I'm getting back the message from my AI agent and I'm storing it into assistant reply, but I'm clearing it in Manychat, but I am storing it in the database. So after that, I'm calling another webhook in my N8N instance that actually goes into the database and it retrieves the latest message sent to the user, right? So, and what this does is that it helps get over that webhook timeout issue because I'm storing the agent's response in the database instead. And I'm coming here and I'm calling the latest response from the agent and I'm storing that to assistant reply. And I'm finally sending it here under assistant reply. And then basically from here, right, we're going to wait. If the user responds, I'm going to send the response over into my database. I'm going to clear the user field. I'm going to clear the assistant reply. Then we're going to go here. And this is actually what supports the message batching system. So because Manychat does not have just an easy way to actually handle batched messages, what we have to do is that we have to get the message, send it to our database, clear the user field, right? And do that over and over again. So in this case, once the AI assistant has replied, it's waiting on the user. So the user can reply here one time. I'm going to send it to the database, right? The next step is going to trigger this block here, which is an empty space. So it's not going to send anything to the user because you can't send just an empty space to Instagram. So it's going to look as if, okay, I replied, I'm waiting on the user to reply. And if the user replies in, let's say, in another line, then it will go ahead and store it here. It'll clear the user field and then it'll come back here. It'll send an invisible message and we'll wait for another user reply. So all we're doing is that we're batching the messages. So that's exactly just how this is working. All right, so let's go ahead and jump over to N8N and I can show you how that's working. Okay, so we are here in N8N and this here is the AI agent flow that is driving that Manychat automation that you saw. All right, so it all starts when a message comes in here through the webhook. And one of the first things that I'm actually doing here is that I'm getting the contact ID. So what I'm doing here is I'm querying my database, my DM conversations. I am getting the contact ID, and I'm getting the very first item, the very first really word from the contact ID. The reason I'm doing that is because I am dynamically passing a prompt to the agent depending on what was requested from the user. Some social media creators may give a checklist, some may give an ebook, right? They may have a couple different things that they're giving to the user. So depending on what offer they're giving, we want our AI to respond in a different type of way. Okay, so as you see here, right, we have the key and I have a key and a prompt, right? So checklist, demo, and then I have a fallback, right? Which I still have to set up, but basically all that's going to happen is that there's going to be a default prompt to where if it's not one of these, it's going to fall back into a default. But as you see here, if a user messages the word checklist, it's going to pull the checklist prompt. If they send in the word demo, it's going to pull in the demo prompt. So as we come back here, right, we're going to grab the ID from the user. We're going to see the very first thing that they sent in. So if they sent in the word demo or checklist, we're going to grab the right prompt here. We're going to merge it all together, and then we're going to send it over here to this Instagram DM agent. Okay, so let's actually get into the tool calling part, right? So I'm using the GPT Model 4. This AI agent has two tools and an output parser, right? So the first tool is a chat thread. And basically what this allows the AI to do is that it allows it to pull the entire chat conversation. If I come in here to DM conversations, you could see that I have all the messages. So in this case, the first message that was pulled was checklist, right? And then the main chat got the email. And then from here, we see it was from a human agent, human agent, right? So we see exactly who's doing the reply, right? So the agent's able to go in there and is able to pull the entire thread for that specific user and it's able to see what they're saying. So as you can see, when the webhook comes in from Manychat, it's not like we're getting the incoming message from the user, the AI agent's grabbing that message, creating a response, and then sending it back. Rather, what's happening is that the user sends a message, we send the message to the database, the AI looks at the database of what the user is sending, when they sent it, right? So the AI now has context of the flow of the conversation because we actually have timestamps in the database supporting that. So the next thing the agent's able to do is that it's actually able to dynamically grab the email address. So anywhere in the conversation, if the user sends an email address or if they're asked for an email address, the agent's actually able to automatically append the email address over here to the email field. So what is the output parser for? So here's the way that I structured it, right? So I told the AI that it's going to give me two things. It's going to give me an output, which is the message that it wants to send to the user. And it's also going to give me a response code. What the response code means is that if the message is safe to send back to the user, meaning that the AI has a confidence in responding back to the user and acting on their needs, it's going to send a one because a one means safe. If the user sends in something that's very confusing or the AI just, maybe it's way out of context, right? Maybe they're trying to just get around it. It's going to send a response code of 2, basically agents letting me know that I do not know how to respond to this. And what's going to happen here is that we are going to send in all the messages into the database. And then from here, if the response code is safe, we're going to go ahead and set the message here for the user. So we're just going to get the message. We're going to send it back to the webhook, which sends it back into Manychat. But if it's not safe, then we're going to go ahead and alert the business through email, and then we're just going to send an empty webhook reply, basically meaning that the user is not going to get a reply. This here is the message batching workflow. It's 3 nodes, super simple. All it's doing is that it's getting the incoming information from Manychat. It's inserting the messages into the database. I'm using Postgres to do that, and it's responding to the webhook, basically with a success message saying that, okay, this flow is complete, move on. So as I mentioned back here in Manychat, because of that webhook timeout issue, where sometimes the flow is not able to fully complete, and we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we're trying to build this flow that's fast to complete to time it against the webhook that's not reliable. If it responds, great, we're going to clear the message. If it times out, no problem. Manychat's going to move on anyway, and all we're going to do is that we're just going to call the latest item. By the time that it times out, the message is already in the database. It's just having an issue getting back into Manychat if it times out. So the window's very close. So all we're going to do is that we're going to go ahead and fire this automation here. And this automation is going to do a lookup for the contact ID for the latest message sent from the AI. If the response code is safe, it's going to send it to the user. If it's not safe, it's just going to respond empty. So the user, again, they're not going to get anything back to their Instagram DM. All right, so there you have it. This is still a work in progress. I am improving this, but yeah, definitely excited about this project. Looking to build it out more and share more as I build it out. If you are a social media creator and you are looking to get something like this to help you automate your DMs and build your email list while also just driving more conversation with your followers, do send me a DM on Instagram. Do also check out the free N8N templates in the description below. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.